GBS.
Good afternoon from Nairobi, Kenya's capital. It's 8 minutes past 1 and you are tuned in to The Ambassador. I am your ambassador, Paul Madhenge. This is the space where we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. Now to our very first story, Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF, has officially deployed another contingent of troops to Somalia under the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia. The newly formed Battle Group 45, also known as BGXLV, will replace Battle Group 44 and continue Uganda's long-standing contribution to regional peace and stability. Here is the details.
A fresh group of Ugandan troops under the Battle Group 45 has been flagged off to join the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, a mission aimed at stabilizing Horn of African nation after decades of conflict.
In the name of UPDF, whose leadership has organized this kind of activity for the sake of peace in the world.
Presiding over the send-off at the Peace Support Operations Training Center in Singo, UPDF officials urged the soldiers to maintain discipline, professionalism and respect for human rights while on mission.
Roho yenye inatupeleka pale ni roho ya Kiafrika ambayo wazungu wanaita Pan-Africanism. There is nothing much we are prepared for as a benefit from our activities. Hakuna chenye tunategemea. Isipokuwa chenye tunategemea ni kuona wenzetu wamepata utulivu, nao wameanza kuwa na maendeleo jinsi tulivyo wakati huu.
The Battle Group 45 will operate under ATMIS command to support Somali security force in their fight against Al-Shabaab insurgents and facilitating the gradual transfer of security responsibility to Somali government.
It is my conviction that the objectives of the course have been achieved. Therefore, we expect this battle group to lift our flag high in the mission area. And we pray to continue being the same for a peaceful world.
Since 2007, Uganda has been a key troop contributing country to AMISOM and now ATMIS, playing a crucial role in restoring order and ensuring regional stability.
Sir, I've just returned from the mission area. I came back last night and I can ably say that I've been the advance team, including myself, has been ably orientated to flee. And the BG45 will deploy in 2 sectors. Been able to cover all those forces and feel and touch the requirement and the need, and that we are ready to fit in the Battle Group 41, which we are rotating from the mission area, sir.
As Battle Group 45 begins its mission in Somalia, the message from UPDF leadership remains clear: serve with honor, discipline and commitment to the cause of peace. Davis Karani for GBS News.
Now moving on, Cameroon is on edge after deadly post-election unrest. In the northern city of Garoua, a young teacher was killed and shot. A young teacher was shot and killed during violent demonstration reportedly by a police officer. The unrest follows disputed election results showing President Paul Biya leading with just over 53% of the vote. As Elvis Muyudi reports, opposition candidate Isa Chiroma has rejected the outcome, deepening political tension as the nation awaits the official announcement. Here are the details.
In Cameroon's northern city of Gara,
A young teacher was shot and killed during violent demonstrations on Tuesday. Witnesses say the fatal bullet came from a police officer as anger erupted over the country's disputed presidential election.
It was just in front of her home, in front of a pole where a bullet was found. The police officer who shot at her wasn't in uniform, but with a police vest and 2 weapons, one heavy caliber and one lighter. He shot, the bullet hit her and she fell to the ground in this place. I didn't know that it was her who had been shot. It was only after prayer that I met a neighbor and I asked him, "What am I looking at?" And he told me that the girl who was shot was our neighbor and that she died in hospital. That's how it happened.
Her death marks the first casualty of the post-election unrest, shaking the nation. Preliminary results show long-term President Paul Biya in the lead, with just over 53% of the vote. Opposition candidate Issa Chiroma trails with 35% and has rejected the results, accusing the Election Commission of fraud. According to exclusive information obtained by Francophone magazine June Afrique, President Biya offered Chiroma the position of Prime Minister before the announcement of the final results, an offer he refused.
When you organize elections and get beaten during said elections, then accept your defeat. Really, all of this started yesterday, and it needs to stop. He needs to accept his defeat. I am asking all the people of Yaoundé, you need to recognize your defeat. Take your phone, Mr. Paul Biya, call Mr. Chiroma, congratulate him, and let this all be over with. We, the people of Garoua, are sick of this regime.
As Cameroonians await official announcement of the results, tensions between the government and opposition continue to rise, leaving the nation on the edge and mourning the loss of a young, promising life. Elvis Muyodi, GBS News.
Now moving on, the European Union has reaffirmed its long-term commitment to Ukraine, pledging to meet the country's financial and reconstruction needs through 2026 and 2027. The announcement comes as Kyiv continues to grapple with the economic fallout of Russia's ongoing invasion. Speaking after a high-level meeting in Brussels, European Union officials say the bloc will continue to provide economic, humanitarian and military assistance under the Ukraine Facility framework. The plan includes both grants and loans aimed at helping Ukraine maintain essential services, stabilize its currency, and rebuild critical infrastructure damaged by the war. The European Union has already approved a €50 billion aimed package covering the period from 2024 and 2027. Officials say part of that funding will be reassessed and increased if Ukraine's needs expand in the coming years.
Committed to ensure that Ukraine's financial needs will be covered for the next 2 years. We have asked the Commission to put forward options as soon as possible so that Ukraine has the resources it needs to continue defending itself and fight for a just and lasting peace in 2026 and 2027 if it's necessary. Russia should take good note of this. Ukraine will have the financial resources it needs to defend itself against Russia's aggression and in the foreseeable future. Now, the technical, legal and financial aspects of Europe's support need to be worked on, and we will return to this issue in the December European Council.
Indeed, this morning we adopted the 19th sanctions package. It is a wide-ranging and extensive package that hits at the heart of the Russian war economy. And in parallel, the United States is proceeding with its own set of sanctions on Russia.
And now the ambassador will take a short break. We will be right back with more as we continue to debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. Stay tuned.
Hello kids! Today we are going to learn the story about Jesus feeding 5,000 people. Do you know of any other miracle that Jesus Christ did? Do you know which work Jesus Christ used to do? My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. 5 tiny barley loaves, 2 small fish in a little boy's lunchbox. Although it wasn't much, he gave it to Jesus.
Tokyo World Marathon. Bro, hapa sasa ndio kuna maneno. Unaona feel nini ni mbaya na Manyala juu bro anadefeatiwa man. Siku hiyo Manyala sio Manyala bana.
Hakuna kitu Manchester inaweza fanyia sasa. Mwekezaji kama vile last time nikamwambia Ekeni Arsenal kichwa. Ekeni Arsenal over 1.5. Ekeni Arsenal first team to score.
I have been fencing for the last 1.5 years and fencing haina age. You can start as early as at a very young age and you can also play at a very old age.
Kuna pale mshari represent Kenya yenye tunasema.
The game yenye nilienda last ilikuwa junior championship na ilikuwa Angola.
Fencing is a sword sport, but we don't call it a sword, we call it a blade.
Ili kujua mengi, jiunge nami Omala Brian kwenye GBS TV Sports Sugu Show. This is where passion meets the game.
I'm your host with the most, Irene Shiguna.
FK the DJ Ava, aka the Mix Wizard.
Don't call me MC Slingshot. If the flag don't pick up, I'ma lose it. All I need is grass, meaning boozy. I'm worried about Jada Juicy. Yeah.
Boozy.
Comparing me to these rappers, nika kunitusi. Walidhani masa ni cheesy akiosha mbuzi.
Mbuzi in this reference inamaanisha nini? Oh, you're the god!
Ndio.
Tulikuwa tuna wasanii wa shule kila Friday unaitwa form 4 wakanilipia my first video.
Yeah.
Nikaingia shule nikagwa shukrani.
Ngoje shule yako ilikuwa
Yeah, ilinilipia kila kitu, audio, video.
Everywhere GBS.
Well, welcome back to The Ambassador as we break down the development news for you and get the bigger picture on what's happening globally. And now moving to the Middle East, US President Donald Trump on Thursday dismissed an effort by some Israeli lawmakers, to push forward with annexation of the occupied West Bank, saying Israel is, and I quote, not going to do anything with the West Bank, end of quote. A bill applying Israeli law to the West Bank, a move tantamount to annexation of a territory that Palestinians seek for part of in future independent state. Now, preliminary approval by Israeli lawmakers on Wednesday, US Vice President J.D. Vance said earlier during a visit to Israel that Trump would oppose annexation of the West Bank, and it would not do happen.
You know, they're just trying so hard, and it's not working. They've even now started imitating me, of all people. They want to imitate me, and they start using foul language, but they use too much of it. You know, you can't use the F word 7 times in one sentence. It doesn't work. It might work once every 7 news conferences, but you can't do it. You can't do it 7 times in one sentence. So I don't know. They're really they're in big trouble, that party.
When I served in Iraq in 2005 and 2006, we used to, instead of a gallows humor way, talk about the Iraqi catch and release program. The reality that we would catch a lot of people, hand them over, and then they would be recycled back through, and we'd have to recapture them or attack them again. And that's why changing the dynamic and actually taking kinetic strikes on these boats ought change the psychology of these foreign terrorist organizations. To those two that survived the shot on the semi-submersible, think again, compared to Iraq and Afghanistan, the vast majority of people that we captured on the battlefield, we handed over to the home country. Did we always like how it shaped out? Sometimes we did, sometimes we did not. But 99% would go to the Afghan authorities or the Iraqi authorities. So in this case, those two, they were treated by American medics and handed immediately over to their countries where they came from, hopefully to face prosecution, which is a very standard way of handling something like that.
Don't worry about the West Bank. Israel's not going to do anything with the West Bank, okay? Don't worry about it. Is that your question? They're not going to do anything with the West Bank. Don't worry about it. Israel's doing very well. They're not going to do anything with it.
That was weird. I was sort of confused by that. Now, I actually asked somebody about it, and they told me that it was a symbolic vote, some symbolic vote to recognize or a symbolic vote to annex the West Bank. I mean, what I would say to that is when I asked about it, somebody told me that it was a political stunt, that it had no practical significance. It was purely symbolic. I mean, look, if it was a political stunt, it was a very stupid political stunt, and I personally take some insult to it. The West Bank is not going to be annexed by Israel. The policy of the Trump administration is that the West Bank will not be annexed by Israel. That will continue to be our policy. And if people want to take symbolic votes, they can do that. But we certainly weren't happy.
Now moving on, the United Nations is warning that the situation in Haiti could deteriorate rapidly if urgent action isn't taken. Speaking in New York, the UN Special Representative for Haiti, Carlos Ruiz Messiu, said gang violence continues to spread beyond Port-au-Prince and called for stronger international support to help restore stability. Here is more from the United Nations.
At the United Nations headquarters in New York, concern is mounting over the worsening humanitarian and security situation in Haiti. UN Special Representative for Haiti, Carlos Ruiz, has urged the international community to prevent the situation from deteriorating any further.
We need to avoid at all costs that the situation worsen. We report in our latest report that the situation in Port-au-Prince has been maintained, has not improved but not worsening. But we also report that there's an advance of more activities and advance of the gangs in other departments.
He emphasized the need for continued and strengthened support to Haiti's new International Security Force, known as GSF, as it moves towards full deployment.
It's important to maintain, hopefully to improve the situation, while the GSF is fully deployed, and whoever really can provide additional support to the GSF and to Haiti in general, I think is very much welcome because of the dire situation that they are facing.
He noted that the UN is working closely with Haitian authorities to ensure all security operations respect human rights and avoid civilian harm. The UN mission in Haiti is also training security forces on accountability, proportionality, and human rights compliance, aiming to avoid mistakes seen in past operations.
Also, as we do with the Haitian National Police, more institutionally, as we do with obviously the MSS as part of the endeavor in the past, and will do with the GSF in terms of providing all the training needed so they abide by the principles of human rights in terms of proportionality, in terms of accountability, but also the training they need in general.
He promised that the UN Integrated Office in Haiti will reach full operational capacity by the end of the year, enabling it to fully deliver its mandate.
Already by first week of November, the mission will be back around 75% of the international capacity, 84% of the overall capacity of the mission. By the end of the year, or before the year ends, we will have 100% capacity of the mission. And that will allow us then really to deliver fully our mandate.
A new UN support office in Haiti is expected to be established by March 2026, while the International Security Force could be fully deployed a few months later. Susan Nganga, GBS News.
Well, with that story, we wrap up today's edition of The Ambassador. I am Paul Mathenge, and it's been great having you with me here on GBS TV Africa. Stay tuned for updates throughout the day, and be sure to join me every day as we continue to debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. Thank you for your time and company. Until then, it's a goodbye from me.